when enough individual humans change how they view the world and how they live in it, you have a revolution of consciousness. And this revolution in consciousness is a future probability that exists simultaneously with your present moment in time. And if you could but tilt your intellectual perspective forward just a little bit, you would tumble joyfully into your future. And by joy, I mean the exhilaration of stepping into a greater sense of freedom, the freedom to create new realities. Preface. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. Of course, my name is Bryce, and today it's Tuesday. So as we do on Tuesdays, we are reviewing the channeling from the Arcturians in Tom Kenyon's book, The Arcturian Anthology. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Down in the description box below, there is a link to the playlist where all of the past channelings, the past episodes will be located. It's in the playlist called Understanding the Magdalene. This is the third book of Tom Kenyon's channeling that we have done. I had to think about that for a second. We started with the Magdalene manuscript, then we moved into the Hathor material, and now we are looking at the Arcturians. We only have a few more episodes left of this channeling. I will be announcing the new book very shortly. It's another Tom Kenyon book. We're just going to stay on this Tom Kenyon roll while we're on it. I really do appreciate and like all of Tom Kenyon's work. There's only a few things that he's written that I just don't agree with or don't resonate with, but most of what Tom Kenyon has channeled and put in his work very much aligns with things that I have studied, other channelings, all that kind of stuff. But as always, you guys, I just want to reiterate again, every time you're looking at any type of channeling, you do need to take everything with a grain of salt. Mainly because when a person is channeling, they are filtering the information through the perspective of their own reality, right? So if I'm channeling, I am filtering through the information through a reality of my life as Bryce. And that is what we all do, because that's the only perspective that we have, is the one that we hold. And so I always say, just take things with a grain of salt. If something doesn't resonate, leave it, and understand that this is not anybody trying to mess up the channeling. It's just literally what we have to go through as human beings. It is a form of confirmation bias when the person is channeling through their own perspective, but unfortunately we are only in our bodies and only have our perspective. And so this is something that's true with anything, and therefore some messages can be lost in translation. With that being said, before we get into it, we are going to be looking at Frephius today. I hope that I am saying that name right, Frephius. Let me know if you think it's pronounced another way. But I do want to give a quick shout out to the people who make this channel possible for you to watch for free. That's right, you guys. Asea, my sponsors, are the reason that you get to watch this totally free. As many of you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that putting any type of material out on the internet does take a lot of work, a lot of labor, and it does become a full-time job. You guys, I've said many times before, I work about 16 hours a day and I rarely take a weekend off. Most of that is me researching. Researching doesn't research itself, filming doesn't film itself, and editing doesn't edit itself. I know a lot of content creators do have to put their work behind a paywall, and I absolutely understand why. When you're doing this work, there's no way to do any other job. You are literally, this is your full-time job, and bills still have to be paid, rent and mortgage has to be paid, food has to be bought, and so that is why there has to be an exchange of energy. If somebody is giving you their heart and their soul and their labor to either inform you or entertain you, then that energy has to be given back. And that is why so many content creators do have to go behind a paywall. Now, fortunately for a lot of content creators like myself, there are companies that will reach out to us and offer to sponsor us, meaning that we will advertise their products just like they do on TV with commercials, and they will pay for us to be able to then give you, the viewer, offer this content for free. And so I, for one, am truly, truly grateful to Asea for so many ways, for doing this, for allowing me to be able to never put anything behind a paywall, to allow you guys to have full access to all of my research. I'm so grateful to them, but I also love the product. I have been offered many, many sponsorships over the course of the 3 years that I've been on YouTube, and not once have I ever taken a sponsorship, because there's always been something about the company or the product that I did not align with. But when I was offered this by Asea and I started researching Asea, the company, I loved the founder. The founder is someone who really wanted to get this product out to people, because this product really does help people. It's helped me. It's helped so many people around the world. Asea is a redox supplement. It's a liquid redox supplement, and I'm not a scientist. I know a lot of you people watching are not scientists either. I'm more of the creative side. Basically, in layman's term, redox is the signaling system between your cells. Your cells in your body are constantly in communication, and when there is an injury or a sickness or something in the body that needs to be fixed, healed, the cells will communicate with each other in order to do that. Now, unfortunately, as the clock of time ticks for us all, as we get older, our body tends to lose redox. And so the body has a harder time signaling and talking to each other in order to heal things. When we are very, very young, when we scrape our knee on the bike or something like that, we bounce back really quickly, right? We bounce back really quickly. It's because we have a lot of redox. It's because the body is able to heal itself. That's the way God designed it, right? God designed our bodies to be able to heal themselves. But as we go through puberty and we walk into this world and we're met with all these toxins and all these stresses, the redox tends to wear itself out. This is what also causes aging process for like vanity. So wrinkles, gray hair, saggy skin, even cellulite is caused by not enough redox. And so that is why, like for me, for example, I've been on the redox now for about 5 months, and many of you have left comments in the comment section that I look a lot younger, I'm looking healthier, and I happen to agree with you guys. When I go back and look at old videos, I'm always like shocked. I mean, I started this channel, I was 37 when I started this channel. I'm 40 now. I feel like I look younger now than when I started this channel. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and look at as I've told you guys, I've never taken a video off of my channel. If a video has come off of my channel, it's been the platform that took it off, not me. So you can go and see the difference in my complexion. My hair is my hair is thick anyway, but it's gotten a lot thicker with the redox doing the Asea. My nails are growing faster. I'm sleeping better. I'm also, as you guys know, who've been on this channel for a while, I'm a huge, huge, huge believer in exercise. And if you too are somebody who likes to work out, whether that be, long distance running or CrossFit, or if you're like me, you're a yoga person or a bar person, you know the complexities of being sore and having your body. So we want to be sore, right? Like if you've been in the workout industry long enough, you know that being sore is actually a good thing, because that means your body is responding to the work. And what happens when you exercise is that your muscles start to break down, and then when they go through the rebuilding process, that is when they get stronger, leaner, thinner. You start to get that chiseled definition. So that soreness is that rebuilding process. But we know it's really hard to work out when you're sore, even though you do need to continue working out when you're sore. As I tell my students here in Atlanta, I've been sore for 17 years. But the redox Asea actually really helps with that. It helps the body respond and rebound quicker. So if you are someone that is fully into exercise, working out, and you struggle with intense soreness, or you want a faster result, the redox supplement is going to help with that as well. It's going to help because it's a signaling system, right? And that's what's happening when you break your muscles down through whatever exercise it is. The rebound, the cells healing the muscles from breaking down, has to come into play with signaling for the cells to communicate with each other. And the older you get, the harder it is for that to happen. And so that's why like 20-year-olds, when 20-year-olds go to the gym, they get like a six-pack really quickly. But a 40 or 50-year-old is not going to bounce back into that six-pack as quickly as the 20-year-old. It's not because they're older, it's because they don't have as much redox in their system. And so when you start to take the redox, your body starts to be able to do what it's supposed to do. And so even for vanity purposes, this product is amazing. If you guys want more information on that, as far as the workout goes, I will put a video down in the description box below with Robin, who is a 62-year-old bodybuilder who's been doing Asea. So check that out if you haven't already. It is just overall an incredible, incredible product. Another thing I love about it is that it works on you where you need the work. So when you take the liquid, you are allowing the intelligence of your body, your body's God-given intelligence, to use the redox in the way it needs to be used. So with the liquid, you're not telling your body where to put the redox. You're literally swishing it in your mouth for 30 to 60 seconds, swallowing it, and then letting the body take it where it needs to take it. So for every single person who does Asea, they're going to initially have different results because it's going to take it where their particular needs need to be met. I've heard many stories, people who have perpetual knee problems all of a sudden aren't having knee problems anymore. People who have digestion problems, that's a big one. That is one of the big ones that you see across the board, where people are having a better digestive system. Of course, the anti-aging, all of a sudden people are looking younger. I'm a pretty hyperactive person as it is, being a Vata Pitta in my Ayurvedic dosha, but I have even more energy taking Asea. And days that I double up on the Asea, like days when I know I'm gonna have a rough day and I need to double up, the next day I'm usually like completely clear-headed, super energetic, can get so much work done. And so this product overall is just amazing. And I do believe that the owner of this product, it is my opinion, I don't know if it's his opinion, but it's my opinion that this formula was given to him by higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it, whatever that word is for you, God, you know, whatever that word is for you, that higher consciousness. Asea is also the only company, let me repeat this, yes, you heard that right, the only company to have this formula patent. So you're not going to find redox with any other company but Asea. Another awesome thing about Asea is they are so focused on energy and spirituality that at their corporate office, if somebody is having a bad day, they allow that person to go home with full pay just to make sure that none of that energy, that funk, is put into the product that then is going to be distributed out to the people. So this is just an incredible product, you guys. I can't speak highly of it. This is why it is one of the most things I'm grateful for, because not only has it changed my health, but it's also, again, they're also awesome enough to allow you guys to get to watch this stuff for free. So taking a few minutes to just talk about how awesome they are is really no skin off my back, because I hope to God that you guys will take the opportunity to actually try this product, because it will change your life. It will, for those of you who have grandchildren or young children and you get tired playing with them, this is going to give you the quality of life back, so you have more energy to play with your kids. It's going to extend those experiences for you to really live this life. And when you are on your deathbed one day, you're not going to be thinking about all the time you spent at the office. You're going to be thinking about all those precious times you had with your family, with your children, with your spouses, with your grandchildren. That's what you're going to be thinking about. And Asea is giving you the opportunity to recognize and honor the natural process of your body to be able to work in accordance with God's will for your body to heal itself, so that quality of life can be extended out. Also, another note, if you do want to do this product cannot hurt you. There's nothing in this product that can hurt you. But if you do try the product and after 30 days you're not happy with it, Asea will give you full money back. No problem, absolutely no problem. If you are interested in ordering this product or learning or speaking to a representative of Asea and just getting more information about this product and all the products that the company Asea offers, you can text BRICEinfo to 321-216-8047. Again, that is BRICEinfo to 321-216-8047. If you are texting from a country outside of the United States, please put +1 in front of that number. That is our country. That is our country code. And if you are texting from a country outside the United States, make sure to let Jay, who's the person you're texting, know. Put BRICEinfo, and then let him know what country you're texting from, so that you guys can set up communication on an app that will not charge you, like WhatsApp or Signal or even a Zoom. All right, you guys, with that being said, let's get back to the channeling of the Arcturians. All right, so we are picking this up on page 143, which is Frephius, an Arcturian warrior. I am Frephius, and I was present when the Hathors entered this universe through the portal of Sirius. I've had a long association with these ignatic beings of light. As an Arcturian warrior, I approach situations very differently than the Hathors. And yet, I was assigned to protect them as they entered the universe under the direction of Sunat Kumara. Our universe is far different than theirs, and it has taken some time, meaning millions of years, for them to adjust somewhat to the dualistic nature of this universe. I am the Arcturian who contacted this channel up on the ridge above Labados, the one who assisted him to create the sonic piece he called the light ship. This light ship, as he called it, is a sonic approximation of the sounds made by your vessel's engines, which produce a whirling sound. For humans, this sound can be quite transformational. From what I'm reading, I'm assuming that they're referring back to the very, very beginning of this book, when Tom Kenyon was giving his experience of first being contacted by the Arcturians, which, again, if you missed that episode, the playlist is down in the description box below for you to go back and rewatch these episodes. I am also the same Arcturian who escorted this channel onto our ship that was stationed at Mount Bugarik. Yeah, that's what he's referring to. Because if you guys remember, like, speaking of Asea, if you remember in the very first part of this channeling, when Tom Kenyon was talking about his experience of being on the Arcturian starship, when he was teleported up there, they gave him a liquid from a blue bottle to drink so his vibrational match could handle being in that starship. And when I was reading it, I was like, holy shit, that's Asea. That's literally Asea. So thank you, Frephius, for reminding me that the Asea is actually mentioned in this book. In my opinion, it's the Asea anyway. You know, and so many people in our world are waiting for these med beds. They're waiting, and that's that expectation versus reality, right? We have this expectation that this like tube system, that's this bed that looks like a tanning bed, is going to be presented, and we're going to be able to get into it. And all of a sudden, in like 5 minutes, all health issues are going to be course corrected. We're going to be young again, we're going to be skinny, all this kind of stuff, which is a complete load of garbage, because, you know, that's kind of the point of being on this earth, is to have struggles, and your body is the template for that struggle. But if anything is close to the med bed, is the Asea, because it doesn't happen. It's a gradual process that allows your body to do what it's supposed to do. So the Asea, to me, is actually the med bed. It is actually the med bed. But that expectation versus reality, we have the expectation, or not me, but many people have the expectation of bippity boppity boo, something's going to be given to them where all of a sudden everything's cured, where no, that's not the reality. That is not the reality. So what the Asea is doing is giving you the progression of assisting you to help your body heal. So if you are somebody that struggles with your weight, we've talked about this on this channel many times through our shadow work. If you're somebody who struggles with their weight, there's nothing wrong with your body. There's not, your body was created perfectly. It's something with the mind where an emotion is being displaced. And so you're reaching towards food to bring you some sort of happiness, so you don't have to face whatever emotions it is you're avoiding facing. That's the same exact thing for people who are addicts, for people who are alcoholics. You know, undereating, which I have the propensity to undereat. It's a different type of escapism, but it's also coming from an imbalance of emotion. And so like something like the Asea is not going to take the weight off for you, but it's going to help your body heal so that you can face what it is that you need to face in order to learn the lesson, to pick up the wisdom, to be able to course correct yourself. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, he was talking about Asea in the beginning, and I wanted to remind you guys, like Asea, if you want a med bed, that's the Asea. No, it's not what you think it's gonna be. You're not gonna bippity boppity boo. There's no magic pill out there. It's crazy that I have to tell adults that there's no such thing as a magic pill that's gonna just take all your problems away. No, you came here to Earth. You came to Earth to be a human. And part of being a human is living in a dualistic society, which is what Prephius is talking about in this. The dualistic society that we know from the law of one is also third density, the darkness, the light, the good, the bad. The opposing forces of that cause friction. Friction is not comfortable. Friction is what's needed, though, for you to grow and evolve. It's how you learn. And that's why your soul came to planet Earth, was to experience that discomfort and that friction so your soul could refine itself. How do you clean gold? How does one clean gold? One cleans gold by boiling it. And then all the impurities of the gold come to the top so you can wipe it away. That boiling of that gold is the friction. So having a med bed that just takes your problems away is not the point of being a human. It's counter to why you came here. It's like if you were to go to med school to be a doctor, and instead of actually studying the material, someone just gave you all the answers at the test. Well, then once you finish med school, you kind of screwed, because you wouldn't actually be able to be a doctor because you wouldn't know anything. You cheated. And so I just want to make that clear. This illusion, derangement over this med bed is counter to why you came to Earth. You came here to be uncomfortable. You came here to refine yourself. Your soul decided that there were things about it that it needed to cleanse and refine. And so your soul decided that there was going to be certain things that you were going to have to go through. Let's say, like, maybe you do have a weight issue. That's something your soul was like, we're going to experience in this life, trying to avoid emotions by using food, or maybe that's using drugs, or maybe that's using alcohol, and we're going to hit rock bottom. And then at that rock bottom, we're going to feel the opposing forces of uncomfortableness. And through those opposing forces, that friction, we're going to correct it. And through that correction process, we're going to gain wisdom about ourselves that's going to make our soul even bigger and stronger and brighter. Do not deny yourself the opportunity to grow. The Asea is the med bed. It's not going to change you overnight. You're the one that has to change you, but it's going to support your body so your body can heal itself, so that you can be healthy while you're figuring out why it is you overeat, or why it is you reach for a beer, or why it is you reach for drugs. And that there's no shame in that, because all of us, there is not one person on this earth that is balanced. The work we do in rebalancing ourselves on planet Earth and the choices that we make to do that are never ending. They go all the way to the day we die. And so there's no shame in that. There's no human being on this planet that has ever not had an imbalance, because if they wouldn't be here, that's why your soul decided to come here. So don't gyp yourself out of a situation because you have this expectation, this entitlement, this bippity boppity boo magic pill entitlement that someone's going to come and give you something, when that's not the case at all. And it's good that that's not the case, because but if somebody were to just give you things, you would be robbed of the opportunity of being a human. And if you're robbed of that opportunity of being a human, guess what? You're going to have to come back. I don't want to come back. I want to move on from here. I want to learn my lessons now. It's the same thing with people thinking that there's some big financial check that's going to, this Nasara check that's going to just like drop in their checking account. The world doesn't owe you anything. You didn't come here to be pandered to hand and foot. You came here to learn and grow. The world doesn't owe you anything. And what's terrifying to me when I hear about the Nasara and people like waiting for this money, I'm like, that's communism. That's literal communism. This is exactly what the people of Russia thought with Stalin and Lenin. They were just going to be given equality and given this money and given all these things. You guys, come on. And the beautiful thing about this experience here on earth is that it is your power. It is within your power to change things. Nobody can change things for you. It's not Trump's responsibility to save you. It's not the white hat's responsibility to save you. It's not your partner's responsibility to save you. You have to save yourself. And I know that sounds scary. I know it sounds scary at first, because we've been so conditioned and brainwashed to believe that we don't have power, to believe that we need something outside of ourselves to make us happy. How many people, especially women out there, how many of you have sat around and thought, oh, if I just have this boyfriend, my life will be perfect. Or if I just have this job, my life will be perfect. Or if I can just get my kid into this school, our lives will be perfect. In the drug world, I believe that's called chasing the dragon. That carrot is just dangled in front of you. None of those things outside of yourself are going to make you happy. None of those things outside of yourself are going to bring you clarity and peace. And that's a good thing. Because the truth is, you are so fucking powerful. You want something changed in your life, then you got to change it. It is your privilege to change it. This necklace somebody sent me, it says, I am the storm. I am the storm. You're the storm. That whole thing people are waiting for, that EBS that says the storm is upon us. You're the storm. You are lightning in a bottle. Figure it out. You're lightning in a bottle. You don't need, my mother used to tell us all the time growing up as kids, all the time, if you allow somebody to take care of you, then you allow that person to control you. Waiting for somebody to just give you money, or waiting for the white hats to come and free you, or waiting for Trump to give you a medbed, you're enslaving yourself. And if you study the law of one, to enslave yourself, you are going fourth density negative. Because you're putting your power in the hands of somebody else. For the Americans watching right now, wake up. This is the crux of the American Constitution and the American way. When the American country was established, regardless of whether that history is true or not, I have my questions, but we'll just go with it for now. When our forefathers set up this country, they originally had something called the Articles of Confederation. There was so little government that it didn't work. They had to go back and rearrange it. But the point is, in this country as an American, our federal government should have nothing to do with your life. That is how our forefathers set up our Constitution. Each and every person has certain inalienable rights given to them by their Creator that far surpass the government. The government should not be giving you anything. We should have as little amount of government interaction in our lives as possible as Americans. That's how we've been raised. So now all these people who claim to be patriots are now sitting around and waiting for the government to give them money. That's not the American way, my friends. That's not how we were raised. We're a country where anybody can be who they want to be if they put their mind to it. You want to fix yourself? You want to heal yourself? You want to heal past trauma? You can do it. All the tools are out there. All the things you need to help you work on yourself are out there, ready for you to take them and utilize them. You want to be prosperous financially? All the tools are out there. And if you do it yourself, if you reach for that yourself, then no one is taking care of you, and therefore no one is controlling you. Take your power back. Stop waiting for some fictitious medbed and some fictitious check that you somehow think is owed to you. You came here to be a human. You came here to refine yourself, to go through struggles, and then through those struggles, through that friction, understand who you really are. And so free yourself from all these cults, free yourself from this enslaved mindset, and I promise you, you won't regret it. All right, sorry about that tangent. I feel like it needed to be said, though, because it is very concerning what we're seeing especially on Telegram. All right, so let's go through that again. So we're back on page 143, the last paragraph. I am also the same Arcturian who escorted this channel onto our ship that was stationed at Mount Buragok. I am the same Arcturian who, up on the ridge above Labados, parted the clouds so that the sun was clearly visible. Yet to his skeptical mind, such a thing could not be possible, and he denied it, even with his own eyes, pretending in some type of intellectual struggle that the sun still had a slight mist between it and him. Such a paradox of human nature. That is funny because we often say, like, I need a sign. I'm guilty of this. Give me a sign, universe. Give me a sign, universe. And then I'm like, are you sure that was something will happen? And it's like, obviously a sign. And I'm like, are you sure that was the sign? Give me another sign to confirm that that was the sign. So I'm going to say this. If you have been questioning whether the Nasara stuff is going to happen or whether the Medbed stuff is going to happen, here's your sign. You are the Medbed. You are the Nasara. Go and heal yourself and take your damn power back. You are. All right. In those encounters with this channel, I activated a micro tunnel of communication, what some might call a micro wormhole. This is a means to communicate with beings in different dimensions than we are. I am using this micro tunnel now to bring forward this information. And this is the same method used by all Arcturians to communicate with other beings in other dimensions. The science officer Ektara mentions the dual strategy that we have engaged to protect your planet from further nefarious manipulation. He said, for better or worse, this is the Arcturian strategy. I agree with his assessment. It is the nature of any action taken within the universe that counter forces arise. Opposing forces, friction. Thus, our strategy is to assist you in a way that does not engage counter forces as directly as they would be engaged if you were able to take direct action in your dimension of reality. Our strategy, as Ektara mentions, is to patrol the sector of your solar system to prevent negative, insidious intergalactic travelers from infecting your planet further. The other side of this strategy is to open micro tunnels of communication, and with the publication of this information, we are announcing, so to speak, our intent. Many more receptive human beings will be contacted by us for the purpose of expanding their view regarding the cosmos and their higher potential. I wish to turn my attention to this Arcturian connection with humanity and some of my observations regarding human nature and the impediments to an expanded perspective. Let us take this channel as an example, the channel being Tom Kenyon. Not that he is any more elevated than anyone else, but his channel's resistance to the microtunnels of communication are typical of human reaction. If you wish to communicate with us or be open to communication from us, you must find a way to step outside the box that you have been conditioned to live in. I was just saying that, guys, you're brainwashing. And also I will say this too. You have to remember that we have this big law of consent on this in this universe, and the positive side is always going to honor and respect your consent. The negative side is not. Okay, they're going to try to trick you into giving up your consent, giving up your rights, trick you with things like Nasara to get you to give up your rights and be enslaved again. And so basically what Frephius is saying here is like, we're available to help you. And that is true. Beings of higher densities are always available to help you, but they will not, the beings of higher densities that are there to help you, the good ones, will not intervene unless you consent to it. So if there's any type of resistance within you, that is energetically you saying no, not giving your consent. And so they will back out of respect to you because your free will choice is of the utmost importance to them. And it should be of the utmost importance to you too. Whereas the negative beings are constantly going to be trying to override that free will consent in order to enslave you. All right. This box is an inherited way of viewing reality. It is a way of constraining you, and you must find a way, your own way, to climb out of it. I literally just said that, y'all. Thank you, Freppius. I literally just said that and paraphrasing and not so many words, but I basically said that's basically saying like you gotta do this. Nobody can ascend for you. Nobody can make money for you. Nobody can exercise for you. Nobody can heal you for you. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. The horse has to drink on his own. So let me read this again from Freppius. And I know I'm preaching mostly to the choir here. I have an awesome audience here that totally gets this, and I feel like I'm virtually like high-fiving all of you because you guys are just so badass and you're reclaiming your sovereignty and you're working on yourself and you're trying to be the best human you can be and take that accountability, and that's so fucking amazing. But so this is just kind of me preaching to the choir. For anybody who happens to be watching this who maybe this is a new concept to you, let me reiterate this again. I'll read it again what Freppius said. This box is an inherent way of viewing reality. It is the way of constraining you, and you must find a way, your own way, to climb out of it. Freppius can't help you out of it. Trump can't help you out of it. The white hats can't help you out of it. You got to climb out of it yourself. And thank God, right? Thank God it is all your responsibility, because that guarantees that nobody can enslave you. If you take that responsibility and you try to do this yourself, then you have taken your power back. You have claimed your sovereignty back. In most cases, when an Arcturian opens a microtunnel of communication, it enters the pineal gland of the human energy field. The crystalline structure of the pineal gland is highly conductive for receiving subtle impressions from higher dimensions of consciousness. And so if you choose to open the doorway to communicate with an Arcturian, I would suggest you place your awareness at the center of your head. Depending upon the degree of your sensitivity, you might or might not sense something energetically happening in this region. Whether you experience the sensation or not, I would suggest keeping a part of your focus there. This will help you stabilize your focus, which will assist you to avoid sidestepping into thoughts and analysis of the impressions you are receiving. After you receive the information, I encourage you to analyze it and study it. You must be the final arbitrator of what you deem to be true and not true. You must be the final arbitrator of what you deem to be true and not true. Not the media, not YouTube, not me, not Telegram, you. And I will say, in this community, sometimes we're hypocrites. I've been a hypocrite too, but we got to look at it and face it. We sit there and we make fun of and we pity all of our family members who are watching the media and taking the media's word for it and not doing any type of research. However, we do the same thing, but we do it on YouTube. Our mainstream media platform is YouTube, Rumble, and Telegram. And so we hear what these people are telling us on Telegram and we take their word for it without doing any research. My friends, we are no different than the people who watch mainstream media. We're doing the same thing. We're aware that mainstream media is lying to us, but we can't fathom that that person on Telegram might be lying to you as well. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You have to be the arbitrator of truth. You have to do your own research. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. I say this in almost every single video. Don't even take what I say as truth. Do your own research. I present you, especially in my deep dives, I present you with theories and my own research, but it's not meant for you to take it literally. You then need to go research it for yourself, come up with your own opinions, your own conclusions, and then we can discuss it in the comment section below, right? So take that power back. He's saying here, you are the arbiter of what you deem to be true and not true. And it is your responsibility and no one else's to do so. Thank you, Freppius. And it is your responsibility and no one else's to do so. Since many more microtunnels will be opened between we Arcturians and human beings, let me address some pitfalls that can arise. Besides your own personal belief system, which can greatly hinder communications from other beings outside of the gravity well of your Earth, here are other potential challenges. Cassiopeians have said that too. The Cassiopeians have said the greatest thing that hinders human beings is that we think there is one way to get to God. We think there is one true religion, one way. It's not true. All the trees in the forest are different, correct? Correct? They're all different. If you go into the woods, the forest, all the trees are different. But all those trees are reaching towards the same light. Believing there is one way to find God is what puts us into limiting belief systems. For a moment, let's focus on your personal belief system. While receiving communication from us, I suggest you suspend your disbelief. Simply create a mental space within yourself that allows for the possibility of such communication. The allowing for the possibility of interaction assists you to enter a neutral mental space. It is a mental zone where you put new information and new perspectives about the nature of reality. This sounds like a simple, almost negligible suggestion, but it will serve you greatly if you do this. Another challenge faced by human beings when microtunnels of communication are open has to do with the accuracy of the information and the reality of the being that is sending. It is vitally important for you to consider the next possibility. Yeah, I get that. There are a lot of organic portals out there, and if you have not seen our organic portal episode, I'll put that down in the description box below. There are a lot of organic portals out there that think they're channeling good beings, but they're literally channeling 4th density negative beings that are getting them to do very destructive things and hurt people. Again, point in case, there's a lot of that happening on Telegram. When you are channeling, when you are getting information or feel like you're getting a download from a higher density being, you always have to understand where it's coming from, right? You have to, if there is any type, so if there is a voice telling you that Nasara is coming, someone is going to bring you money, that's a 4th density negative being because they're trying to enslave you. That's what they're doing. They're trying to enslave you. If there's a voice saying, oh, Medbeds coming, don't worry. No, they're trying to enslave you because they don't want you to figure it out. They don't want you to take your power back. They don't want you to go make your own money. They don't want you to go and take care of your own health and your own spirituality. So they're trying to enslave you. So you always have to think about the messages that you're getting and look at them from all different possibilities and angles. Let me preface my comments this way. Like the Hathors, we view your personal will as a sovereign domain. Good beings of light will always see you as a sovereign person who has free will choice. They will never do anything to you without your consent. Negative beings will constantly be trying to manipulate you and take that consent from you to enslave you. The negative side, 4th density negative, we're in 3rd density now, moving into 4th density, and at 4th density it splits. It either goes 4th density positive or 4th density negative. The 4th density negative side has a pecking order. So anybody telling you that there's going to be a new king, there's going to be new queens, that's negative. We've already had kings and queens. Didn't work so well the first time. That's called a pecking order. In an enslaved society, there is a pecking order. Some people are more important than others. That's not true on the positive side. That's a more satanic viewpoint. If we want to use a word that Westerners are more acquainted with, which would be satanic or Luciferian. The positive side, there's a social memory complex, meaning that every single life, every single being is equally valuable to the next and has their own equal sovereign dominion. All right, so really think about that. If you are following a truther who's telling you that there's going to be a king Trump or a king this or a queen, that's a pecking order. They might not be bad people, the truthers, they might be just very confused by the information that they're getting, and they're not educated enough in spiritual law to understand that that's actually satanic. And I want to make that clear too. That's one thing that has really been made very aware to me. There's a lot of people on the internet right now in this truther community. I hate that word, seeker. I like saying a seeker community. That think they're the end all be all when it comes to understanding spirituality, when they've literally only been dabbling in spirituality for like a year. When you go to the East, like when you study like me, when I study with my Param Guru, you are considered a beginner for the first 7 years of your studies. There are many complex theories at play here that you need to be really, really comfortable with and really integrated with before you can start teaching them. And so I just want to make that very clear. Even if somebody seems to come across as being very spiritually knowledgeable, still take everything with a grain of salt. And I would highly suggest doing research yourself, researching the Law of One, researching the missing books of the Bible, researching all these works that help explain the complexity of thought and the complexity of spirituality and what sovereignty really means. Okay, so just be very careful about that, please, please, please. So let me read that again. Let me preface my comments in this way. Like the Hathors, we view your personal will as a sovereign domain. As my fellow Arcturians have always said, our mission is to protect life, intelligence, and freedom. A pecking order, having a king, that's not freedom. Having somebody give you a med bed and give you money, that's not freedom. That's enslavement. So they're trying to protect freedom. We qualify that mission by this addendum: intelligent when it's worth saving, and freedom as long as it doesn't impinge on another being. Let me read that again. We qualify that mission by this addendum: intelligence when it's worth saving, and freedom as long as it doesn't impinge on another being. So if you've got somebody you're following that's telling you, this person has a dark soul or this person has that, that's another sign of a pecking order. And they're impinging, by saying that, they're impinging on that person's free will. So they are therefore, by their actions, showing you that they are either channeling a fourth density negative being, or they themselves are trying to go fourth density negative. Therefore, we, like the Hathors, will never tell you what to do. It is not in our nature, and it would be a violation of our will if we tried to manipulate yours. This is not just a cultural value of the Arcturians, it is woven into the very light filament of our bodies and minds. Now here's a technical difficulty. The micro-tunnel of communication that is created between an Arcturian and a human being is subject to degradation. This is because all forms of communication are subject to disturbances. Take your cell phone, for example. You could travel along a road and have clear communication only to find that you have entered a zone where you lose every other word. There could be sudden static, or the communication simply gets cut off. These types of problems arise from the strength of the signal in the relation to the location of the receiver, and the strength of the receiver itself, kind of like Asea as well in our own body. So macro, micro, macro, micro. Thus, due to the differences in energy, some human beings are more adept at receiving microtunnels of communication and sustaining them. Some humans will find it difficult to receive a microtunnel or sustain it to any degree. When a communication is directed to an individual, it is a principle well worth considering that a message sent does not mean that it is received. There are many breakdowns in the flow of accurate information that are possible. Your two greatest allies to sustain microtunnels of communication are to free your mind to allow for the possibility and to keep your mental focus in the region of your pineal gland. Now, a bit earlier, I mentioned that we in the Hathors shared the view that your will is a sovereign domain, and we will not intrude upon your personal choices when it comes to communication between us. However, you need to understand that in order to receive accurate information in your consciousness, some might say your energy field, must vibrate to the same vibratory rate as the communication itself. Hence why Tom Kenyon had to drink that Asea when he got into the spaceship, so that he can vibratorily, physically match in his conscious field, his energetic field, that with the Arcturians, because like attracts like, right? This locks in the tunnel, meaning that it's stabilized and interference is greatly diminished. If, however, your consciousness or energy body is not a match to the vibratory rate of the communication, it is possible for other beings to contaminate the communication. Bam, 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 there's interference. And so many people, that's one thing like the church tells us, like they're like, oh, just say in the name of Jesus, I cast you out. Y'all, it's not that simple. And we know that the church is satanic. Jesus means hail Satan. It's not that simple, you guys. Again, that is a bippity boppity boo, get out of jail easy card. It's a manipulation so that you give up your power, so that you're enslaved. It's not that simple. Somebody actually asked me a good question on the comment from the Devil's Chair. Like, if you have your protectors and your guides, how can nefarious beings then attack you? Because everything's energy. So the law of one covers this. The law of one does cover this and also warns the same thing that that Frephius is warning here. So you have your guides, you have your team, you have whatever you want to call that, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whatever. There's usually multiple beings that are there helping you, ready to help you. First of all, they only help you if you ask for their consent, but they're always kind of hanging around waiting for you to ask for consent. But let's say you say, hey, my team, my guides, I need you to come in and protect me. These beings, even though they're of a higher vibratory rate than you are, they're still energetic beings. So what happens with energy? Energy it can be transmuted and changed. It can't be destroyed or created, but it can be transmuted and changed. What happens if you had to go run a marathon? How would you feel after that marathon? You would be pretty tired, right? I mean, people who run marathons end up shitting their pants towards the end. That's how tired their body is. And it would take a moment after that marathon to regain that strength for your body to rest. Well, the same is said for your guides. Your guides get tired too. So the law of one talks about when you're under hypnosis, that your guides are really on guard, because that is when you're the most susceptible to being attacked by a fourth density negative being, right? So if you are going under hypnosis for like 5 hours, you're fucking yourself, because your guides can't hold that field of protection for that long. They get tired. And when they get tired, there are cracks in the fence. Yeah. And you see that in law of one, where the woman is being put under, and the entity will say, you need to pull her out now, because we're getting tired and these beings are trying to attack. And so they would pull her out so that she could have her awareness back, so that her energy then becomes a part of that protective force as well. This is the same thing with operations. Like, I know for right now, as the law of one says, if you need to have an operation but it can wait, I would suggest wait for that operation, because every time you go under anesthesia, where you're knocked out, that is a perfect time for dark entities to come in and either try to soul swap with you or try to enslave you or attach to you. So when you go under anesthetics, when you're in a surgery, your guides are really protective of you in that force field. But if that surgery is hours long, they're going to get tired. And so it's high risk for your soul. Now, of course, if it's an emergency situation, you're going to have to just take the gamble, right? And so this is a battle. And I do think places like the church and other religious institutions have severely dumbed down this battle, severely dumbed it down, so that we don't understand the battle. And if we don't understand the battle, we become more susceptible to interference. And when we become susceptible to interference, we put ourselves back into enslavement. And the Cassiopeians have said the biggest thing you can use to protect yourself from this interference is knowledge, doing your own research, understanding these. It's not even a theory. Like, the whole thing with energy and that's just science. Like, that's not even a theory. That's like legit facts. Okay. And once you see it, you're like, oh, that's common sense, man. That's totally common sense. All right. So yeah, they're warning you here that there's going to be the dark beings feed off of you. Somebody called it this. I can't remember who called it this, what channeling. You have light beings and you have light eaters. The fourth density negative are light eaters. The fourth density positive are light beings. If you are a souled person, you carry a light. These fourth density negative beings feed off of that light, because darkness can't create anything, right? So darkness has to take life from you. That's why they enslave you, right? So the dark beings, the governments that we're experiencing, even in our own world, that are going dark, that are going negative, trying to purposely go fourth density negative, are purposefully enslaving you, manipulating you with fear propaganda in order to then feed off of you. So you go into that enslavement so they can feed off of you. You become their McDonald's. Same thing with the people in the truther community that are enslaving you, that are telling you Nassar is coming. Don't worry. Someone's bringing you money. Don't worry. Go max out that credit card. Don't pay your mortgage. Don't get a job. Wink, wink, the government's going to bring you money. So you become into a place of vulnerability and desperation where you will own nothing and be happy. And the next thing you know, you're enslaved to this dark force that now is feeding off of you. Right? Anyway, so let me read that again. If, however, your consciousness or energy body is not a match to the vibratory rate of the communication, it is possible for other beings to be able to contaminate that communication. This is why I belabored the point that both we and the Hathors honor your sovereign will. We will not tell you what to do, and if in your communications with an Arcturian you are told that you must do something against your own will, then you are not in communication with an Arcturian, and I strongly suggest that you close the channel of communication. I would now like to turn my attention to my first words to this channel up on the ridge of Labido, the channel being Tom Kenyon. So Frephius is referring to Tom Kenyon as just simply the channel. These words annoyed him greatly, but it is an unfortunate reality that the truth is sometimes irritating, and in his case, he misinterpreted my words, taking them to be some kind of, as he called it, cosmic mumbo jumbo. But my words were accurate both for himself and especially the greater collective of humanity. The winds of change are indeed upon you, and there is no escaping this truth. As with all Arcturian communications, this simple phrase referred to a multidimensional reality. Were you an Arcturian, I could communicate what I'm about to say in a very short period of time. Due to the use of telepathic holography, I could transfer to your mind the entire history of your species, the present circumstances facing you, and future possibilities. All of this could be communicated simultaneously, but in this communication, I am confined to use the words of strung together in a syntax with primitive markings you call punctuation. Yet without punctuation, meaning would be difficult to extract. It's like people who send you a text and don't use punctuation. It takes like 5 minutes to figure out what they're saying. Please use your punctuation, guys. From my way of viewing it, punctuation is similar to a vibratory boundary in our telepathic holograms. It is similar to a road sign for you. It gives you important information about what you have just left behind or what you are about to enter. Having been a witness to the evolution of humanity, I am fascinated by the history of your global languages and how they have achieved or failed to achieve proper delineations of information. The reality of human consciousness is that language filters reality and determines what you deem to be possible and not possible. Thus, in your language, if it is an Indo-European language, you have past, present, and future. You delineate these time zones, and something is either in the present, the past, or the future. It certainly cannot be in all three at the same time, but that is exactly how we view it as Arcturians. And we've talked about this extensively on Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa and Aquarius Rising Africa. Shanti Morning and I have talked about this theory of time, linear time. We've gone over it in the Emerald Tablets. I think it was the 10th tablet, that's the key of time. So you can go check those episodes out. If this is a fascinating topic to you, I would highly suggest reading the 10th tablet of the Emerald Tablets, the key of time, because he really goes deep into the theory of time. This is because we see time from a different perspective than you. We reside in the fifth and higher dimensions, depending on our level of evolution. So we view time from an outside of it. And for us, all events from your past, present, and future occur simultaneously. That's also spoken about in the Sophia Code, that everything's actually happening simultaneously, and that's really hard for us as humans to understand that. I realize this is a very difficult concept for someone living in linear time to consider the possibility that there could be another way of looking at it. So when I said to this channel, the winds of change are upon you, I was beginning the tedious task of trying to communicate a telepathic hologram through a primitive language you call English. Due to his personal issues with expanded perspective around alien intelligence, he balked after the first few words, and I was not able to complete my communication. Humans. By the winds of change, I meant them both literally and figuratively. Now, in the moment of that communication to this channel, the physical winds were stirred up. I found that to be rather amusing, since this was not the winds that I was referring to, but in English, the words were the same. I was referring to the solar winds. It is the increased flow of solar winds that are activating humanity and changing it right before your eyes. The other aspect of this was the word you. Again, I was confined to the constraints of a primitive language and cannot communicate the breadth and the majesty of the telepathic hologram. This is because the word you means both a singular person or the collective. But holographically, I was communicating both of them simultaneously. This is because the individual person seeds the collective and the collective seeds the individual. That's part of the laws of karma too. You got 3 karmas you're working with. Your family's karma, meaning things you inherit from your ancestors, your own karma from this life and past lives, and then the collective karma. And all karma is cause and effect. It's neither good nor bad. It's just cause and effect. It's just work. So yes, you have your individual and you have the collective, and they seed each other. That again, that goes with the laws of karma. By this, I mean the individual human affects humanity in ways that may not be apparent to you, but the influence exists whether you're aware of it or not. And at the same time, the collective obviously affects the individual. So when I said the winds of change are upon you, I meant the changes produced by the solar winds were affecting both the channel and all of humanity. From our view, you as an individual human contain within you the potential future history of your entire species. This simulation, past, present, and future reality is within you. This is why when you make major changes in your personal reality, meaning how you view the world and how you live in it, it affects the collective. And that's what the dark side knows. That's why the dark side is brainwashing you on both YouTube and Telegram as well. Because they know that if they get you to believe something, if they can manipulate your free will and get you to bow down to enslavement, then they've got it. They've got it in the bag. We're going negative. We're going into the New World Order. But if you decide, if each and every individual goes, this isn't right, I don't want to be enslaved, I'm going to go take care of myself because that's my sovereign right and that's my privilege to take care of myself, and that's going to have a massive domino effect over the whole collective. One voice is important. Look at how many of us who are telling you, like myself, Catherine Edwards, Tamara, there's a lot of us out there telling you the truth. And we're super shadow banned, aren't we? But the ones out there that are lying to you, manipulating you, they have huge views. The truth is, you're the storm. Don't be enslaved to anybody. You're the storm. And you figuring that out and saying no to the enslavement is going to have massive domino effect on everybody on this planet. Just one person standing up and saying no. And when enough individual humans change how they view the world and how they live in it, you have a revolution of consciousness. And this revolution in consciousness is a future probability that exists simultaneously with your present moment in time. And if you could but tilt your intellectual perspective forward just a little bit, you would tumble joyfully into your future. And by joy, I mean the exhilaration of stepping into a greater sense of freedom to create new realities. And the Cassiopeians say this as well. Fourth density positive, that timeline shift we're all waiting for, it could happen any moment now. They're waiting for us to make it happen. They're waiting for each and every person collectively to wake up. And I'm not talking about waking up to mainstream media. I'm talking about waking up to the truther community. I'm talking about you figuring out that no one's coming to save you. The minute you figure that out, the minute you say, no, I don't believe you, I have to take care of myself, I'm not going to accept a handout from anyone because that enslaves me to that person or that group. The minute we all start to do that and better ourselves, then boom, we're in fourth density positive. People, I see people all the time on the internet being like, where are the white hats? Why isn't anybody doing anything? Why hasn't Trump done anything? First of all, it's not Trump's responsibility to save you. It is not Trump's responsibility to save you. Trump has to save himself. His responsibility is to him and his family, not you. You are responsible for yourself and your family. Okay? So the thing is, though, it's you that's causing this holdup. It's not Trump. It's not the white hats. It's you. Because you are still asking to be enslaved. By being on Telegram or any other channel and being like, oh my God, I'm so mad at Trump. I'm so mad. They haven't done anything. They haven't release the RV. Then you are the holdup. Because it's not his responsibility to save you. You're holding us up. If you want that timeline flip, If you want to be in fourth density positive, where we have a social memory bank complex and all are equal, then get your head out of your ass and stop feeling entitled to have somebody rescue you when that man has to rescue himself and his own family. Okay. You as an individual and humanity as a collective are in the midst of time acceleration, and changes within your global society are moving at an ever-accelerated rate. I think we know that for sure. You are on the cusp of an extraordinary technologies that can enhance or decimate life on your planet. This is, at the same time, both a great evolutionary opportunity and an immense challenge. By engaging more microtunnels of communication with a large number of individuals, we hope to inspire through encouraging a greater perspective regarding the cosmos and the humanity's place in it. One of the signs of an intelligent and free society is the free flow of information, transparency. This is one of the hallmarks of the Arcturian civilization and a standard by which we measure all things. Through the development of telecommunications, the internet has greatly served this purpose. Yes, and I want to reiterate that what they're saying. Mr. Fox has said this too. The internet can be used. The internet's just a tool. It's just a tool, you guys. It's not a sentient being. It can be used for both good and bad. So people like to focus so much on how the internet's being used for bad. Well, there's your problem, because it's also being used for good too. It is a course of mix of valuable information and garbage. It is your task, as in all things, to sort for what is true from what is not true and what is valuable from that which is worthless. You, the individual person, are the only one who can take responsibility for yourself in this matter. As the powers that control the old world adapt to the new world, they are using and will continue to use technologies to assist them. The use of information and the constraint of information contrary to their agendas has a long history from the earliest time of human civilization. Those in power, more often not, perpetrated their own power for their own sake. Rarely has a cultural power used its influence for the benefit of its society. And yet for we Arcturians, this is a necessity for intellectual governing. From our perspective, you are in the midst of an evolutionary paradox. Will your technologies evolve into life-affirming powers? Or will they become tools for the power brokers behind the scene that manipulate world events for their own ends? Choice is ours. It's all ours. As it has been pointed out before, our strategy, for better or worse, is to open more microtunnels of communication to individual humans. We do this in the hopes that they will be inspired by a new vision of new possibilities. I began this discussion by sharing that I was the Arcturian this channel, Tom, encountered on the ridge above Labido during the creation of the light ship sound patterns, and the one who escorted him onto the vessel at Burdock. I wish to conclude my section with some observations regarding his first excursion onto the vessel. It became an immense topic of conversation among my crew, and his encounter with the navigator was amusing to all. To this channel, the navigator looked very odd indeed. And this particular alien, who was what you might call an exchange crew member, was an alien race unknown to you who called themselves Haktul. They are unique individuals and a unique collective. They are generally around 10 feet tall, have a single eye in the middle of their forehead, and one of their arms could be constructed as the claw of a lobster, which is how this channel interpreted his visual impressions. The Haktul are particularly fond of their appearance and are often a bit aggressive with those who don't share their self-appreciation. I know a lot of humans that way too, a lot of humans out there that aren't particularly fond of people who don't appreciate them the way that they appreciate themselves. When he approached the channel Tom and challenged him, the response was resourceful and accurate. To each other, the other looked odd. And yet when I escorted the channel into the bridge, the navigator was there. He was quite at ease and saw the humor in the situation. Your universe is filled with alien intelligences, some of which resemble humans, but many of them do not. And it would stretch your imagination trying to conceive of some of these in your mind, as they are so alien, meaning strange to look at. But my suggestion to you is not to judge an alien by the way he or she looks. You have to go beneath the surface to find the character, the quality of the individual, and the cultural values of his or her civilization, even though it might be very different from yours. Since we are on the topic of visual impressions, let me say a bit about how Arcturians generally appear. We are quite human-like in our features. We have 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, 2 ears, 2 arms with hands, opposing thumbs, and 2 legs like you. But our heads tend to be rather squarish looking, and in certain energy states, our face resemble horses. Indeed, our appearance will shift according to the energetic state of an individual Arcturian and the energetic state of the one perceiving an Arcturian. It is a mix. Since we exist in a 5th dimensional reality or higher, and your brain patterning is of a 3rd dimensional reality, most humans will heavily filter their side of us through their expectations. This is true of most encounters between higher dimensional beings and those of lower levels. In closing, I wish to say to you that you are intergalactic royalty. That's what they don't want you to know, guys. That's what they're trying to enslave you. You're royalty. Let me read that again for those in the back who didn't hear. In closing, I wish to say to you that you are intergalactic royalty. You share DNA from a myriad of intergalactic civilizations, and you are now on a fast track, as the saying goes, to your higher evolutionary potential. You are living in the present, redeeming the past, and creating a glorious future if you choose. If you do not choose the higher resonant frequencies of your potential, you will be cursed by your past and live in a future not worth living. The choice is ours, guys. Whether we go 4th density negative or 4th density positive, the choice is ours. If you keep continuing to enslave yourself to anyone, we're going negative. But if you stand up today and say, I'm taking my power back, I'm not waiting for a check, I'm not waiting for a med bed, I'm doing it myself, then we're going positive. Choice is yours. Challenges like this do not deter an Arcturian. They inspire us to reach higher. Challenges like this should also inspire us as well. I wish to convey to you the fullness of my telepathic hologram, the probable future for mankind and womankind that I hold so true. Yours will be a future worth living and a destiny that will be heralded and acclaimed throughout the cosmos.